Welcome to Crimson Guitars. Welcome to my tiny workshop working from home at the moment. I'm Ben Crow, I'm a guitar builder, and at this point in time I am taking one of Crimson's kit guitars and turning it a little bit cyberpunky. If you haven't watched the beginning of the series, go back and check them out because, well, we're in the middle of something a little bit interesting. Before I get on with a bunch of scraping and sanding and fitting and playing and spraying and just all sorts of stuff, you need to go to greatguitarbuildoff.com. It is a new venture that we are putting together. You need to sign up for the newsletter, and I'm serious, you need to do this. We have got a bit of an incredible journey coming up very soon, very, very, very soon. We have approached a number of makers and builders and guitar builders and generally talented folk with an idea to take one of our kit guitars and customize it and build it and put it together in any way you see fit to then be auctioned off and sold for charity. Every single one of these makers is going to have a video or two or whatever on their channel, and you guys are going to get to vote at greatguitarbuildoff.com on who wins and potentially, well, bid on winning a guitar. At this point, we have Brad Angove, we've got Daniel from Guns and Guitars. I've been wanting to work with him for years. Matt of Texas Toast Guitars, who it was actually his Patreon supporters who first. It was a Patreon thing. This whole idea came about with him, and they called me out, and then we've sort of run with this insane thing. So Daniel Guns and Guitars, Matt of Texas Toast, Daryl Braun Guitar, Jimmy DeResta, Brad Angove, Tamar Hanna of 3x3 Custom, and Philip McKnight of Know Your Gear. So far. If you know of anybody who you think should be involved, hit us up in the comments. Hit them up in their comments. We would love to work with people like Colin Furs, for example, or Adam Savage. Actually, I think I would just, yeah, that would be a lifetime achievement. Sheesh, there's a cat up there. Actually gave me a fright. So yeah, we're going to be getting these kits out in the not too distant future. So if you know of anybody who would want to be involved, if you want to be involved, get in touch with us through greatguitarbuildoff.com. It's all for charity. The guitars are going to be sold and the money goes to a charity of the builder's choice. And the most important thing is, in these strange times when far too many of us are not able to get to their workshops or their jobs, we're going to be putting out a lot of guitar building content. Burn it. Haha, yay! Back to my task at hand. I've got a lot of epoxy to get rid of. Worked though, didn't it? All right, so I've got this, well, it looks like a stick. Most tools are pretty much sticks with bits of metal, aren't they? So what I have here is a bunch of different shaped, different profile scraping tools. Here's an interesting one. And, well, this is what I need. Essentially, the tool runs along the edge, the scraper goes in there, and it very precisely cuts a bead or a shape into the edge of a piece of wood. And it's a gorgeous old thing that nobody knows about anymore. Obviously, it's a user-made thing. Come on. So we've got a stop there that keeps it where it needs to be, and then a should just scrape away the excess. As long as I'm careful. clamp this down. Maybe I should be wearing goggles. With any guitar build, be it a kit build or a full from scratch thing, there is a lot of this sort of stuff. Sharpening, sanding, scraping, cleaning, tidying up. And the final quality of what you end up with depends entirely on how well you do the jobs, basically. But anyway, I've just sharpened this little square edge of this, and essentially I can now set it up here. Scrapers are fantastic, and this is technically a beading tool, I suppose. It is fantastic. Please don't berate me in the comments. What do you think? What do you think? Okay. So if this glue had failed, then another option would be to pin it. So get some aluminium rod, drill a hole through into the wood, essentially glue the rod quite deep in, and then pin the top over, Let me rephrase that. On the inside of the hole, slightly chamfer it, use a countersink or something, so that essentially as you hammer the aluminium in, it peens over and holds the plate down. And once you sand it down, it's nigh on invisible. It doesn't look like we're going to need to do that though, which is good, because obviously I like the insane texture that we've got here. Now, I am wondering about sanding the inside of these, so that's nice and smooth, because it doesn't fit with the story. The rest of the texture could be just use and death and age, etc. But in there, it's obviously a manufacturing thing. Unless the story is that he's remade the plate at some point. You know, Sylvan's a guitarist, is a bit of a metal worker as well, for example. I don't know. What I do know is it's time for coffee. 100%. I'm really enjoying this one. I'm struggling to think of the last guitar I didn't enjoy. Probably the 90-hour build. If you haven't seen the 90-hour build, go back and check one of the... we did 2 super edits of it, and you'll see the bits I didn't enjoy. Okay. Yes, coffee. Bye-bye. Time to do some carving. But this side's almost done, really. Clamp. Rough it out with a chisel. Go into a rasp. Huh. Maybe not. Fine. Let's just carve away with a rasp. The coffee didn't help. Will you fit in there? There comes a time in a build where you don't want to damage what you've done before, but you still need to hold it all down. This seems to work, and looks pretty cool in that light too. Every time. In between building guitars, I'm currently also landscaping this garden and moving tons and tons of rock and stone, etc. And the process of breaking a tiny clod of dirt in half 2 days ago has totally destroyed me. I've massively hurt my neck. Which is why this video went live on a Saturday rather than 3 days previous. I'm old, but not quite decrepit yet. Picking that up, though, hurt. Anyway. With that in mind, this video is dedicated to Sarah and Matt. Sarah is my pharmacist, and while selling me deep heat, I said, you know, there might not be a video this week, and she said that Matt might be crying in his whiskey, if that was the case. So, hey guys, there's a video. It's all good. Rasp. I'm worried about popping the aluminium off, you see. I put it under too much tension. There's a big rasp down here somewhere, isn't there? Where did he go? Aha! I haven't quite figured out everything in this workshop yet, I'm sorry. Yes, of course. So there's another small section I want to do on this side. Clamp again. This has got a safe edge on it here, so that'll not help at all. I knocked the edge off. Okay. You knock the edge off, you move the edge, you fix the problem. Which means clamp it down just a little bit more so it stays still. What do you think? So there we have it. As it currently stands. I'm pretty happy. It's the little things like those edges and the cavities. It's all starting to come together. I do like this chamfered edge. I do like it rather a lot. Please, in the comments below, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think I should do, what I should change, what I shouldn't have done. I mean, it's not constructive, but I can deal with a little bit of criticism. Tinsy little bit. Yeah. At this point, I'm supposed to be telling you what I'm doing next. I'm going to have to go back to my notes. Crikey, I've completely forgotten. Something to do with soundhole, maybe. That's it. I have to clean the inside of the soundholes so that I can test fit some of this. Ay. I just don't have enough scrap wood around this place. I want to make a sanding stick. Can't be bothered. I'm in pain right now. Nope, I need a sanding stick. So that phone call that I just got that interrupted my entire life was 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon saying that this morning at 7:30, I would have a bunch of people delivering this. And putting it up. Because, you know, whoa, camera work. Because the last time it's just let the professionals get on and do it. So we have a small workshop over there in which I'm probably going to finish this build because there is going to be quite a lot of work left for me to do in there, customizing, etc., etc. But, well, a little bit more space in which I can sling my camera. Here's a time lapse that I think we're now on, actually. Yeah, there we go. Time lapse. Anyway, onwards and upwards. I've got a sanding stick to make. It feels very weird not being allowed to be involved in building that workshop. Normally I'd be there with bells on, but anyway. Anyway, back to the schedule. I was about to make a sanding stick. I found some pine that I can't focus on. I found some pine left over from this build. There we go. It's these bits that held this perspex in. But there we go. Look at that. So one side flat, one side lightly curved, and I'll do the same. So we've got two grits. So of course I forgot about the corners, but there we go. Made another one with beveled edges. It's very difficult to do this while looking through a screen of a camera. Let's do it properly. No, you are not going to watch me sand all of this. That would be boring. Catch you on the other side. Somewhat of a surprise, but it's all done. Now, I've only been on this property now for 10 months-ish, and there's been a hell of a lot of landscaping and all of that involved. But from the very beginning, the plan was always to have a rather large workshop back here. So, well, let's go and have a look quickly. I've got, well, it's 20 by 12. I need, well, they left glass and stuff. I am going to do a lot to it. Insulation, electrics, roof, obviously. And it's not going to be ready for a while. I also have a plan for some pretty cool windows looking out over the field on this side. Obviously more light, etc. But all of that will be coming much, much later. Because right now I'm in that workshop, thinking about being in this one. Back to work. Good morning. Well, we're here, and more is happening. Stuff is going on. As it currently stands, I'm like 90% of the way through sanding this. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect because we're obviously going to be filling it with this, but better than. It needs to be better than it currently is. I'm going to clean this up as well. Where's my messages? We have a visitor. Yes, cute kitten. Okay, so here is where we currently are. Oh look, there's another cat. Sorry, so distracted. So this is now, again, roughly sanded. Basically, when I'm not filming, I need to come back in and sand for hours and hours and hours. I'm also going to put some primer on there. Basically, this symbol has to have a black background with a yellow warning surroundy thing. So very basically, I'm going to have to spray paint that yellow, paint that black. I think we'll go black and have a black bevel as well. I'm wondering about priming the inside of these cavities as well and painting those. I think what we need to do at this point actually is a little bit of an experiment with that hex infill stuff. What do you think? I think it looks a little bit too... Up until this very, very second, I was expecting to just leave it natural. But it looks a little bit too... well, like a bee made it, frankly. I'm wondering if I can paint this. Okay, so I'm going to get some watchmakers tweezers and adjust each of the cells in the final thing so that they absolutely fit 100% perfectly. It has taught me that I don't need to do any more sanding inside of those cavities. There's just no point. You won't be able to see it anyway. Period. It is 100% internal. I don't really want to put... I want to leave it open as a sound hole. I don't want to flood it with epoxy. I'm going to assume that adding honeycomb in there is going to add enough strength to the delicate areas that it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It will be. All right, I've stuck this on the end of a needle file, the name of which I've just forgotten, and yeah, that's worked out rather well. What do you think? Focus. 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 Let's go inside and I can do this properly. So, just with one or two little passes, I've changed the feel a little bit. I'm going to experiment with different colours. I think probably silver would look best, and I do think that I'm going to have to spray it in situ. So, yeah, this is going to be a semi-complicated finishing process, really. And of course, since I no longer have my spray booth, I'm going to be playing around with rattle cans, so which are a perfectly valid, thing. Okay. Clear perspex. I really put the gloves on far too early. I want to see what it looks like if I glue two pieces of this together. I'm wondering what will happen if I do a sort of a semi-dichroic kind of a thing in this gap. Now, I could just flood it with resin. That's easy. It's been done before a million times. Or I could take a little bit of time, which many of us have oodles of, and essentially, if it works, glue pieces of perspex together so you've got joints, cut it, chop it, change it, and then essentially have a construction of perspex as the line. And then when you shoot the LEDs through it, it could be incredible. It could also utterly fail, and it all actually depends on this stuff. It depends on what it looks like, it depends on how long it'll take me to clean up edges and all of that. Now, I was initially just going to do a quick test off camera, but thought, what the hell? You guys are here for the journey. Let's have the journey. I need to go and pick up a saw though, because I need to chop this. In my role as chief picker at vintagetoolshop.com, I occasionally find things that could be fun. And this is a totally homemade micro table saw. The gentleman who built this was a watchmaker and a guitar maker and all sorts, and it runs amazingly. It's just incredible, and I thought I have to have a use for that at some point in my life, and here is that use. I'm going to chop up some perspex. So we're only making small cuts. This fence isn't the best, but should be okay. Yeah. Okay, success. So yeah, I'm going to do one more just for fun, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so he built this to make fantastically gorgeous banding for guitars, which I bought this just before the lockdown. I cleared his workshop, which was it was bittersweet. It was amazing stuff in there, but also really sad. But yeah, I'm going back after the lockdown to buy the rest of his veneers and bandings and all of that. But anyway, for now, I have this, and I want to see what it looks like when I glue it together. So we're after, well, just some experiments, shall we say. The first thing I'm wondering is, do I need to clean it up at all? Okay, gloves. Changing my mind. I want these in a few more pieces. Okay, so I'm gonna see what happens if I glue face to face. So we've got two clear sections butting up against each other, and then a clear section and a sawn section. And we're just gonna end up building something interesting and see what we come up with. Might not work at all. Okay, so this is specifically for gluing acrylic and perspex sheet. And specifically to be applied with a syringe. It is a part of this build that I'm doing things that I've not done before. I'm just basically playing around. I haven't messed with this stuff in years. Okay, so what I'm using here is PK1 acrylic adhesive thin. It is acetic acid and dichloromethane. There's a category 3 carcinogen. Yay, I should probably be wearing a mask. I don't have a proper gas mask here yet. So you go down there. So the theory is that it melts the other side of the perspex and essentially they become one homogeneous mess. All right. Let's see how clear we go with this. There we go. Windows are open and everything. Okay. See what I'm after? So you get different facets inside. We're kind of going for a tesseract sort of a thing. And then once I clean the edges off and sand everything and polish everything, you end up with a multifaceted, where's my phone? Let's have a torch. You'll end up with just an interesting visual of internal effect like that. I am going to off camera play around a lot more so I can see. Look at that. Imagine a whole bunch of squares like that with LEDs going through, shooting down the center of the guitar. There is something else that you can do to make it even more visually stunning, but I'm going to leave that for another day and another build. But yeah, that has glued absolutely perfectly. It's solid. I can now take this off, face it off, and basically polish and clean and adjust, and then I will end up with something interesting. Okay, look, I'm not entirely sure what I've achieved in this video. It's been a very, very strange week. Very, very strange week or so, actually. But fine. In the next episode, we will have something incredible for the internals of this guitar, and I'm going to do my damnedest to get it contiguous, glued together, one guitar body. It's going to take a lot of work, but hey, you're worth it. All right, if you haven't yet, please subscribe, click the like button, notifications, all that. Check out Crimson Guitars Extras, where we're going to start doing a lot of extra stuff. Pun totally not intended. And yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you think? What did I do wrong this time? See you soon. Goodbye.